What up? What up? It's your boy, Mil P, representing the 334. Coming to y'all today to give my opinion on the Reggie Wright, Mob James, the whole Death Row breakdown between Death Row, Bad Boys, what happened in the Tupac and Biggie situation. Hey, I wasn't there, but based on my spidey senses, I think I have an idea of how it all went down. All right. Now, I've been listening to a lot of interviews between these guys on different platforms, as far as Vlad TV and Art of War. Shout out to Art of War. Vlad, no, not so fun of. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by saying this. Hey, I wasn't there. Hey, you know, in 1997, 1996, I was still in school. Okay, so you know what I'm saying. I heard about all this stuff far away, but hey, I'm just using my spidey senses to come to the conclusion what I came to, and I think I have an idea of what happened. All right, so let's start it off. Suge Knight goes to Atlanta. Let's start it from there. He has an altercation with Puffy and his crew. Suge Knight's friend gets murdered, murdered by one of Puffy's bodyguards named Wolf. Okay. Now, that's where it all starts at. This is way before Tupac even comes into the situation. Okay? Suge then has something against Puffy because of the situation. Now, I don't know what's going on with Suge's ego, because it might be an ego thing also involved in this. Both of them trying to climb the ladder, trying to be on top. You know what I'm saying? Only way you're going to be major alpha guys, major businessmen, they don't get in to just have a part of the market share. They want to take over the whole market share. And it was a competition between Bad Boy and Death Row. Okay? Now, I forgot his name. Puffy's guy that got shot by Wolf. Jake, I think, maybe something like that. But anyway, Jake, now the situation, there's some beef going on. Later on, Puffy then Suge signs Tupac. Tupac already got some things going on in him because of the situation that happened to him on the East Coast, you know, with the East Coast guys. So he has some animosity towards guys back in the East, and particularly the guys with Bad Boy, Puffy and Biggie. Now Tupac also has some things going on with him as far as ego and wanting to be the top dog also in the rap game, on the rap tip. Suge on the business tip, Puffy on the big business tip, and Tupac on the rap tip. Now Biggie, I think Biggie was a neutral guy. You know, he just, you know, living life. So here we go. Tupac, this is the ultimate team. This is the ultimate hookup between him and Suge, because he has some animosity towards, you know, Bad Boy, and Suge has some animosity towards Bad Boy. Okay? So later on, I hear this this documentary through Vlad TV from a source, some guys who put together a film called Deep Dive. Deep Dive goes on to say that Suge and Tupac make this guy who is affiliated with Puffy, they try to get him to drink urine, right? So they get the guy up in Suge's office, they beat him up and try to make him drink urine, right? So this guy, they try to get this guy to tell them where is Puffy's location, where is his house. Puffy was Puffy grew up with this guy. So the guy don't give it up, but the guy gets out alive, right? So he gets out alive. He goes back and tells Puffy about the situation. Now Puffy feeling like this guy Suge is a problem. He might be trying to take my life, right? So Puffy being young and then coming up in the music industry and getting more power probably than he ever had in his life, he goes and gets protection on the West Coast through the Southside Crips. And in the Southside Crips, there's a guy called P Diddy and the Southside Crips. So Puffy hooks up with the Southside Crips, who he know are not too fond of Suge also. So now Puffy has his security or his hit guys on his team out on the West Coast. So then I think, in my opinion, when Puffy kidnapped when Suge kidnapped Puffy, that Puffy's affiliate, that probably shook Puffy, because Suge, he don't know Suge. Suge got this reputation of being a big bad guy, right? This mafia type image, this bad guy. So I think Puffy got shook. I think Puffy hired guy killers, hit guys on his team, and I think he wanted to take Suge out before Suge had a chance to take him out. So now let's go back to the Southside Crips. Okay, so now Puffy is affiliated with the Southside Crips. So time goes on, right? And I think Puffy did put a bounty on Suge Knight's head. I don't know about Tupac, but definitely Suge Knight. And the death row chain and all that shit. And here's another golden nugget in the whole situation that people not putting in, but it's been told. Suge Knight was sleeping with Puffy's baby mama. And you don't think Puffy knew that? Because Suge Knight took a picture of Puffy's son, Justin, and put a death row chain around his neck when he was a little toddler. Now think about that. Now think about Puffy getting the news back that his baby mama is sleeping with Suge Knight, one of the guys who he's in a war with, and took a picture of his son with a death row chain on. Right? This is adding more fuel to the fire. Right? So Puffy has the Southside Crips. He puts a bounty. He tells the Southside Crips to get a death row chain. You know what I'm saying? And he put a bounty on Suge Knight's head. And he don't give a shit about Tupac either, because Tupac been talking shit about Puffy also. And some shit been going on, and Tupac also was in on the situation with the chain being put around his son's neck. Right? Puffy then what happens is between Zip, which is an East Coast guy who Suge is funneling the money through, to Keefe D and the Southside Crips, he's funneling the money through Zip to Keefe D and the Southside Crips. So now this all falls into place like this. The night of the Tyson fight, when Tupac and Suge went to Vegas, the altercation between Orlando Anderson in Death Row happened at a mall where they took Trayvon Lane's chain. This was nothing but an opportunity for Keefe D been an opportunist to take advantage of the situation to kill two birds with one stone, take out uh to get Orlando Anderson to get okay, let me back up. But the chain situation happened. This is an excuse right here. This sets the whole scene up for all this historic thing happening with Tupac and Biggie, that chain snatching. And it's just something that happened because it was in the cards to happen, right? So the chain gets snatched from Trayvon Lane, a Death Row affiliate, by the Southside Crips. Later, Suge Knight and Tupac and Death Row head to Vegas for the Tyson fight. And also, Keefe D and the Southside Crips go to Vegas also. Now, why did they go to Vegas? Maybe they just wanted to go to the fight. I don't know. Or maybe they wanted to go because it was a chance for them to get at Death Row, Suge, and Tupac and Death Row. Now, all of a sudden they go to the fight. Orlando Anderson is in the casino or whatever, the event where the fight goes down. Death Row sees Orlando Anderson. One of the guys go to Tupac, whisper in his ear, tell him that with a nigga to snatch the Death Row chain. Tupac goes over, beats him, they jump on him, beat him up. Trayvon Lane, being a gangster, a shooter like he is, gets back with Southside Crips with Keefe D and them guys. Them guys, Keefe D, the ultimate opportunist, puts a bug in his nephew's ear. He can kill two birds with one stone. His nephew is already mad. He can let his nephew be the trigger man to take him out. He can get the money from Puffy. Boom. Boom. This is the ultimate setup for Keefe D. He like, bam, I can use my nephew already mad at him. He can go ahead and be the shooter, and I can get the money, right? So that's exactly what happened. These events transpired that way. Orlando Anderson takes out Tupac, but I think he was trying to take out everybody in the car. Tupac or Suge, it didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Zip. Okay, now, after the hit was done, now Keefe D wants his money, right? But Von Zip, the guy who's the conduit, or the guy who is the middleman between Puffy and the Southside Crips, is a shyster. I ain't gonna say that I don't know the man is shyster or not, but I'm just going off the information through all the different interviews, how I put all this stuff together, or what type of guy Von Zip was. Mike Tyson tells a story about Von Zip taking money from Don King, taking the money. It wasn't his. So he's a New York guy. So what makes you think he wouldn't do it again, right? So Puffy maybe gave Von Zip the money, and Von Zip never gave that money to Southside Crips. So Puffy Combs, Sean Diddy Puffy Combs, allegedly, I think, I believe, is the reason why Tupac is dead. Now, in retaliation, Suge Knight survives the hit. Now, we on Suge Knight's side. What Suge gonna do? Suge knows that Puffy took out his guy. So what Suge does, he sends a hit onto Biggie. Suge Knight, from everything I heard through the interviews, got his hitter, a guy named Poochie, to take out Biggie. And that's where we at. Now, I don't know none of this true, but if it look like a duck, walk like a duck, quack like a duck, it's a duck. I'm putting all this information together based on the interviews where I'm hearing from different people. And that's what police do. I mean, that's what investigators do, detectives do. They get a bunch of information from different people to put together the puzzle of what went down in the situation. I mean, it's clear as day. I mean, you can go back and listen to all these different interviews, and you'll come out with the same conclusion. I think Puffy put a hit on Biggie. I mean, on Tupac. Not Tupac. I think Puffy put a hit on Suge and Tupac also, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think Suge was a threat to him. I think he wanted to take Suge out. And then Suge, in retaliation, put a hit out on Biggie. That's what happened. And another thing I want to touch on also is the situation with the Muslim guy that they're saying Big Dean is saying there's a Muslim guy who was out on the streets that night. He might have something with that, because if I see Vlad, and Vlad is kind of like dismissing that, but it's something in that, and that I found out through the old tapes I seen. But regardless, that's my opinion. I'll get back on that part later. It's your boy Milk P. I'm out.